Hi, it's Will from Practical Performance Car. I'm here with Robert Young today to talk about his Citroën 2CV. Now, you're probably thinking, why would we be featuring a Citroën 2CV on a channel called Practical Performance Car? 2CV's a little Citroën with a 602cc flat twin air-cooled engine originally, but yours doesn't have one of those, does it, Robert?
That's right, yeah, we've done some sensitive upgrades.
Yeah, sensitive.
Well, depending on the...
You've stuck to the same engine configuration, haven't you?
We have, yeah.
But it's not a Citroën engine,
It's not a Citroën engine, no.
So
It's a BMW bike engine. It's from, I think, a 2006 1150 RT touring bike. So it would have been sort of 95 horsepower originally.
So what was the 2CV originally?
2CV, I think it was about 29 or 30.
Right.
So yeah, and actually, there's a chip as well on there, so which gives it about 115. Yes,
right.
Yes, it is. So
115.
that's
horsepower.
What we had on the rolling road. Yeah.
So you've gone from 29 to 115.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, yes.
Wow. Still on the same Citroën gearbox?
Yes, it's got a Diane final drive, so it gives it a little bit more legs in top. But yeah, on the same gearbox.
And it's holding up okay, isn't it?
So far. I mean, and this was built by Pete Sparrow, as you know, who has a lot of experience with these.
Pete's a well-known Citroën 2CV specialist. He's very much into this sort of 24-hour 2CV racing and
as well, yeah. I mean, anything from the original, the oldest A series right up to these sort of BMW engine cars. He'll be one of the best in the business there. So he's a lot of experience of these conversions, and I don't think he's ever had a standard 2CV gearbox give up on one of these engines. There's another one out there with a BMW engine with a supercharger on it.
Really?
Yeah, and that one has, I think, 155, 160 horsepower or something like that. And I think he managed eventually to break the gearbox.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He tried quite hard though,
a burnout or sort of, words to that effect, really. Yeah. So,
but you didn't know Pete when you first did this, did you?
No, I found Pete through the internet.
But didn't you have a BMW motorbike?
Yeah. I thought I had a bright, revolutionary idea when I had my 1200 GS motorbike and another 2CV, and I noticed in my incisive way that the engines were about the same size and of the same configuration, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if that were to work? And then scroll on a few years, and I was still thinking the same thing, having got rid of the bike and the 2CV for that matter, and happened to be looking online as you do, and then I realised that somebody had the idea before me, and that Pete Sparrow was the man to go to for anything in that direction. So I gave him a buzz, and we worked on it together really, and he advised me, and he worked his magic. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very interesting car. It's
so do I.
Essentially really still at heart a 2CV. It handles much like a 2CV. It rides much like a 2CV, looks much like a 2CV, but it goes rather unlike a 2CV.
Shall we have a look under here? I'll get this one. That is quite a lot bigger than a 2CV engine, isn't it? You've had to cut the inner wings, I see.
That's the only modification really, apart from on his other BMW conversions, he would leave the gearbox in its standard position, but on this he moved it back about 30 mil.
Right.
So there's a little kind of lump just to the left of the pedals really, where the gearbox sort of intrudes so far into the cabin.
Right.
But that gives it a lot better weight distribution, and crucially it gives it the space up here. I think Dianes are a little bit easier to convert because they've got a little bit more space here than 2CVs have, but with this modification he gives more space for the fan here, the oil cooler, and as I say, the side benefit of that is that it handles, in my view, beautifully.
And this is an injected engine, isn't it?
Yeah. Really, everything from the engine is off the bike.
Right.
There's the power commander.
Right.
Which gives it that extra. I couldn't believe how much extra power it gave it.
You had it without it at one point, did you? And it did make.
Well, no, I'm just sort of saying that would be the standard power is about 95.
Yeah.
And then Pete put this. I mean, when he built it, he found this, so it was a real sort of I mean, for a while it seemed that power commanders for 1150 BMW engines didn't exist.
Right.
But he managed to find one in Portugal through his BMW contacts.
Oh, right.
And yeah, the result was about 20 horsepower, which
wow.
probably surplus to requirements, frankly, but it's it's still there.
Surely that's the whole point, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. No. Correct.
But this is an oil cooler, isn't it? It's still an air-cooled engine.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, at the moment, so far, it's kept its temperature. That's one thing that I not worry about, but I keep an eye on the temperature when it gets very hot.
Yeah, because obviously on a bike, those cylinders are much more exposed, aren't they?
Correct. Yeah.
It gets enough air, does it?
So far, so good. I mean, I've not driven it in 40 degrees plus temperature or been stuck in traffic or anything like that. I'm not quite sure.
In this country, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, the way things are this year,
but you've got an oil temperature gauge, I take it. That's how you know it's.
Yeah, it's that's right. Yeah, so I keep an eye on that, and so far it's stayed below about 120 on that, which is just about okay. I think it could hit 130, and above that, we probably have to start worrying, really.
And it looks like you've still got a heater as well.
Well, still, I mean, it's an aftermarket heater. This is the sort of thing they put on kit cars.
Oh,
so
right.
This tube takes heat off the cylinder head there, and then there's a little fan in there with a switch inside, which gives it it's considerably better heating than a standard 2CV would have.
And then down there it takes a bit more heat from the exhaust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. No, it works quite well. I mean, to say it's no Volvo, but
no.
It works quite well.
Okay.
You can drive it in all weathers. Plus, it has heated seats as well. So
heated seats in a 2CV.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They're very, very effective. So you can really drive it all year round without too much trouble.
So standard gearbox.
Yeah.
Hasn't got an LSD or anything like that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Sorry,
does it?
I beg your pardon. Yes, it does. It does have an LSD. But
so how do you get an LSD for a Citroën 2CV?
You buy it from a supplier, I believe, in Belgium. I think it's Quaife.
I guess it's developed for the races, is it?
Possibly. You'd have to ask Pete that question. But
yeah.
I think that you can buy them from China, and they're quite a lot cheaper. But you can also, I think this is Belgium or Dutch made,
right.
And it's quite expensive. But I think they're not undrivable, but considerably less fun in corners and coming out of junctions and things, especially if it's wet. You know that if you don't have one.
Yeah. And the wheels, they look like standard 2CV wheels, but they're not, are they?
Well, they're original to the car, but banded.
Oh, so they've just been made wider?
Yeah.
By having a piece of steel welded into them to
exactly.
widen them.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, they look brilliant.
Thank you, yeah.
And it does sit quite a lot lower than a standard car as well. How have you done that?
It does. Well, yeah, I mean, that's just really just an adjustment, to be honest. I think, in my view, it sits a little bit too low. It looks great, but sleeping policemen, especially 4 up, do
because you managed to find 3 other people mad enough to go in it with you.
It's a practical family saloon.
Right.
Well, this is an everyday car, really. It's got this lovely bespoke exhaust which Pete had made.
Yeah, where does that exit?
Over here, and as you can see, that's quite low to the ground.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
So.
Yeah, you can see that would catch.
Yeah, so I think we might raise it by a wee bit.
Okay, well I think we should probably go and have a drive in it.
No problem, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, it's considerably more nippy than a standard 2CV.
It is. Starts to get very interesting at about 5,000 revs.
Oh, I bet.
You notice it really takes off then. I mean, it's very torquey for a bike engine. Well, it's a big bike engine, but it's still got it's the power you get at the top of the rev range. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, I bet it really lifts off. still feels just like a 2CV, just an awful lot quicker.
Exactly, that's what I love about it.
Yeah. That was brilliant, thanks.
That's all right.
What a fantastic thing.
It's, yeah.
Thanks very much, Robert. That was absolutely brilliant.
No problem.
Fantastic car. I can't believe how nippy it was. I'm not going to mention the speeds we were doing on the way home, but
well, I couldn't see it. I was
thank God we hit the autobahn on the way back. Thanks very much.
No problem at all.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider joining us on Patreon. It starts from only £2 a month, and it's even the top tier is only a £5, which is still less than a tip. And for the entire month of May, we'll be donating all of our new Patreon money towards Save the Children. So if you're like us, a little concerned that there's some nasty stuff going on in the world, you can help out with that. You get extra footage, you get behind the scenes videos, you get written content, and you get access to old features from the magazine itself. So please consider doing that. Thank you.